Hi friends, welcome back to my kitchen. I'm Amy from Neurotic Mom Bakes, and I'm so excited for this recipe today. It's actually not a baking recipe, it's no bake, but it is so delicious and perfect for Thanksgiving and really easy to make. It's my no bake pumpkin cheesecake. So we will get started. You just need a pie tin. You can use a disposable one or a glass one like this one. And I'm just going to give it a spray with some cooking spray and set that aside, and we're gonna work on the crust. Now, you can use graham crackers. I have tried this with Biscoff cookies and it was unreal delicious. It was so good. But I couldn't find any Biscoff this last time in the store, so I'm gonna do graham cracker today. Vanilla wafers would also work for this. So I'm going to start by crushing these up in a blender. You could also do it with a rolling pin in a bag. This just gets them really nice and fine. And don't forget, I will have the written recipe down below in the description box in both cups and grams. I need roughly 2 cups. We're not quite there. And I'm going to melt a ½ a cup of unsalted butter in the microwave. And while that is melting, you just need 3 tablespoons of brown sugar and about ½ to 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. Let me get a bowl for this. There's 1, 2, just about 3 tablespoons. And just about ½ a teaspoon to a teaspoon of cinnamon. Then I'm going to pour my melted butter over this. And I'm going to use a fork to get it nice and combined. Okay, that looks good. Now we're just going to press this into a pie plate, covering the bottom and going up the sides. I'm gonna pour it all in. And I'm just gonna use a spoon to start pressing this. I personally like the thicker crust. I like more crust with my pies. If it's the graham cracker Biscoff crust, I just think it's so good. So this is a nice amount to cover this 9-inch pie plate. And I'm just gonna chill it. You don't have to, but I'm going to because the filling that goes in is cold. All right, let's work on this filling. For the filling, you are going to need 8 ounces of cream cheese, a ¼ cup each of powdered sugar and brown sugar, 1 cup of pumpkin puree, some heavy whipping cream or double cream. You're going to need 3/4 of a cup. That's before it's whipped. 3/4 of a cup before it's whipped. Some cinnamon, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, and then a ¼ teaspoon each of ginger, nutmegs, and cloves. And I'll review that as I go along. So we're gonna start with 8 ounces of the cream cheese, and then a ¼ cup each of the brown sugar and the powdered sugar. Brown sugar. And, so I'm gonna cream this first. Get it nice and smooth. While that's working, let's open the pumpkin. And I have some paper towels here because you are going to want to press as much liquid out of the pumpkin as you can. It will help the cheesecake set up much better and be able to hold its shape when you cut into it. Get a cup of this pumpkin. Make sure it's not pumpkin pie filling. It's 100% pureed pumpkin. There's a big, big, big difference. And I am going to scoop it out onto paper towels. And I'm just gonna try to press as much liquid out of this as I can. There we go. See all that liquid? It's coming out. And then I'm going to put this in to my filling mixture. Okay, then go ahead and mix that in really well. And scrape down my bowl and do that again. I'm gonna measure out my spices. Okay, I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of cinnamon and 1/4 teaspoon each of ginger, cloves, and nutmeg. Add my spices. Give it one more scrape. Okay, we're just gonna leave that for a minute and work on the whipping cream. So I have a hand mixer for this one. You certainly can do it with your KitchenAid. And I'm going to measure out 3/4 of a cup or 6 ounces of the heavy whipping cream or double cream. And I'm just going to whip this until it's nice and thick and fluffy and stiff. All right, let's check it. You want nice, really stiff peaks. You want this very firm. All right, when it's just about done, this is when you'll want to sweeten it a little bit. Feel free to add as little or as much sugar as you want, depending on how sweet you want this. I have a sweet tooth. I tend to go a little bit sweeter, but you can certainly do less. I'm going to add about 1/4 to 1/3 of a cup of sugar. I'll start with a little, and then I'll taste it and then decide if I want to add more. So just keep in mind, this is not terribly sweet. It's mostly pumpkin and cream cheese, and then you just have that little bit of powdered and brown sugar. So I like to have my whipped cream pretty sweet. Yep, a little bit more. If you're in a pinch and you don't want to spend the time whipping the whipping cream, you can use that non-dairy whipped topping like Cool Whip. That works. I just prefer the taste of this over that. Okay, I think we're there. So I ended up putting about 1/4 of a cup of sugar in that. All right, now we're going to gently fold the whipped cream into the pumpkin mixture. Gently, gently. If you overdo it, it's gonna fall flat. So just go around and then kind of through, around and over, around and over, around through. Kind of just gently pressing it. And this smells so good. The great thing about this recipe is it freezes really well. You can make this and put it in your pie tin and freeze it until you're ready to eat it. Just move it to the fridge a few hours before serving. This is definitely something you want to keep chilled and serve, you know, straight out of the refrigerator. Okay, I think we've got it. All right, I'm gonna get out my crust. Yeah, that's nice and set. I like that when it's chilled. And we're going to fill this. I would not fill it quite, unless you're not going to add any like whipped topping or frosting on top. You can fill it all the way up if you're not going to do that. I like to go just a little bit lower than the top of the crust because I am going to add some whipped cream frosting. You don't have to do that. You can leave it as is. You can get the spray whipped cream that your guests can spray on themselves. But I'm going to show you a really pretty way to dress this up. But first, I'm going to let this set. I'm going to let this set completely either in my refrigerator if I'm going to eat it fairly in the next day or two, or you can put it in the freezer if you need it to freeze faster, set faster to get the topping on. I'm going to put it in my freezer just so it will chill quicker so I can show you how I do the decorative. I'm going to show you a braided border. I'll be using my whipped cream frosting for this, so if you want to check out that recipe and tutorial, that works great for this. All right, pop that in my freezer. Okay, I have my no-bake pumpkin cheesecake all set up, ready to decorate. In here, I have made my whipped cream frosting. Don't forget that if you do use my whipped cream frosting, you need to use it, you need to make it and then use it right away. And then after piping, you just either need to keep it in the fridge or the freezer. Okay, so I'm actually gonna do a braid on here. I have the Wilton 1M tip, and I'm just gonna start on the outside and make a little diagonal coming in, and then a little bit lower on the inside. I'm gonna go over that. And I just go back and forth. And the next piece of the braid will cover the ending of the one before it, if that makes sense. You don't have to decorate this way. You could do little swirls. You could use regular buttercream if you wanted. You could get a can of whipped cream and just spray some on each slice. First of all, I love the taste of the whipped cream frosting with this cheesecake. And second of all, it just looks really, really pretty. It would be so pretty at Thanksgiving or Christmas. I'm gonna make it. I have just enough. Yep. No, no! Dang it. Okay. See, you can fix things. Happens to everybody. So we're just gonna cover it up. I had literally one pipe left. Here we go. No air bubbles. Did it. Yay. Okay. There you go. My no-bake pumpkin cheesecake. Really easy and so good. I made this last week and I gave a slice to my stepdad, my bonus dad, and he raved about it. He loved it. So anyway, give this a try, and if you follow me on Instagram, send me pictures. I'd love to see them. I'd love to know your feedback, and thank you for being here today.